Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Jose. This is Survival NS, and welcome back. If you haven't hit that subscribe button down below, please do so. Now, we're here today so that I can bring up a topic that is near and dear to me, and that is weather-related power outages and blackouts, and how you can deal with them and get by.
Never really know what's going on.
Now, an important point to remember here is knowing when to start preparing for the storm that's about to hit your area. And normally, weather stations and radio stations and your local officials will give you ample warning, usually many days or even a week prior to the storm hitting. And that's the time to go out, gather your supplies to ride out the storm. The time to prepare is not when the storm hits. Well, as you can see, I'm down here by the Sackville River, where this past summer, this was the scene of a massive flood that took place here, submerging this entire park and the surrounding area, including the downtown core of Bedford, stranding many civilians in their vehicles, requiring search and rescue to come save them. We are seeing more and more weather bombs throughout the world, and they come in extreme severity and many disruptions with people's lives as a result of these things. Even in areas where historically you never seen these severe storms are now popping up in those areas. So it's not like you can escape these weather bombs. They're happening everywhere. And it's everything from tornadoes, hurricanes, ice storms, heat waves, flooding, windstorms. And one thing that all of these storms have in common is they cause massive power outages and blackouts. Just as an example, let's say you run a business from home and you experience a power outage. Well, if it's 1 or 2 days, you can probably ride out the storm. However, a lot of these power outages and blackouts, they last for several days, even weeks at a time. So if you're running a business from home, well, productivity is definitely going to be reduced, and there's probably going to be a hit on your income. Because in order to run a business from home, you need power. Power for cell service, power for internet, communications with the outside world. So everything stops basically when you have a power outage or a blackout. And if you have a small family with small children, it becomes even worse because you're even more dependent on power in order to keep your life chugging along and being somewhat normal. When a power outage happens in your area, what most people usually go towards is generators. Whether they're gas-operated generators, or what a lot of people now are starting to contemplate is solar-powered generators. And I'm going to get into the cons and the pros with both of these systems. So the first one I want to talk about is the gas-operated generators. Now, you can basically, depending of course on the power output of your gas generator, you can pretty much plug in everything in your house into these things to keep them operating. The first drawback you need to consider is you can't run them inside the house. These things produce a fair amount of carbon monoxide, so you have to run them outside. Number two, the noise. These things come with a considerable amount of noise when they're running as well. So your neighbors may not be too happy about listening to your generator going 24/7, especially during the quiet hours. Number three, everybody in your neighborhood is going to know you've got a gas generator, and they're going to make like the wildlife around you, and they're going to come over to your place looking for some help. Number four, you're going to need a stash of gas to keep these things operating for the number of days that the power outage is happening. And what you need to do with the gas throughout the year is you need to rotate it, otherwise the gas will go bad. So you may have to find yourself adding some kind of gas preservative in the gas to keep it in good standing order. Now keep in mind, if you have a power outage, you just can't go out, get yourself some gas at the gas stations, because gas stations aren't going to operate. There's no power. You're also going to need to have some cash on hand, because power outages means no debit, no credit. That stuff isn't going to work, so you need the cash if you're going to need to go out and get some supplies. And number 5, these things are very lucrative, and these things get stolen quite often. So my advice to you, if you're going to use a gas generator, get yourself a good pair of chains and chain it up to your house with a nice lock so that it doesn't get stolen. Now your second option is to get yourself a solar generator. They come with a lot of positive features, but they do have one big drawback, and that's cost. Generally speaking, a solar generator will cost you approximately 3 times as much as a gas-powered generator. However, with a solar generator, you can actually run them in the house. There are no fumes associated with them. They're totally quiet. They're portable, which means you can take them from one part of your house to another part of your house to plug some stuff in. Or you can transport it to a different location to help out a buddy or another family member. The other thing with solar generators is you don't require any maintenance. A lot of these generators now come with all kinds of safety features, and they maintain themselves within the unit. As opposed to a gas generator, there's a ton of maintenance you need to perform on an annual basis to keep these things running. And recharging these solar generators is simple, and they come with several different options. They come with a power block, which you can just plug into your 110 volt system in your house. Or if you're transporting it in your vehicle, you can plug in your 12 volt system and recharge it that way. Or you can also recharge them with solar panels, which come with the unit. The best thing about these solar generators is that if you require more power, you can simply purchase an add-on battery, plug it into your unit, and you can do that with several different batteries and raise the level of your power output to approximately 10 to 15,000 watts. And probably, in my opinion anyway, the most important feature that comes with these solar generators is they come with a pass-through charging system, which means while you're charging the unit, you can use it and plug in your appliances or whatever you want to plug in to use. There's no interruption of power while you're charging it. In my opinion, a solar generator is the way to go. Yes, they do cost a bit more, but the pros clearly outweigh the cons here. And don't mind this guy, he's just my nosy little Parker who wants some attention. Okay, so as you can see, I've brought out my solar generator just to give you an example of what they look like. I do want to state, however, that this is my solar generator. I'm not being sponsored by Blue Eddy, and I'm not being promoted by them as well. I purchased this on my own. I've had it for several years now, and I can tell you I've used it several times, and it saved my bacon more than once. So, as you can see here, you've got 6 different plug-ins for your 110 system. You've got all your USB-A's, USB-C's, and of course you've got your 12 volt input as well. This is a 2000 watt unit, which means you can pretty much plug in anything in the house except for your big power hogs like your hot water tank and your stove. So you can charge it with this power brick, which is about 400 watts of power for plugging in. On top is a wireless charging system for your cell phone. You just take your cell phone, place it on top, no problem there. And as you can see, I've got it turned on and it's perfectly quiet, no noise. And of course, you don't see me gagging from the carbon monoxide fumes because there aren't any. And of course, they also come with your solar panels so that you can charge these things as you're using them by setting up your solar panels and plugging them into your unit to recharge. So I'm not going to get into the specifics of this particular unit. If you have any questions or comments regarding this unit, just let me know with your comments and your questions down below, and I'll get right back to you as soon as I can. Now, in these times that we live in with our economic situation, a gas-powered generator or a solar generator is not feasible for many people. However, there are some other power storage options that you can purchase, which is not as expensive and can power some of your devices to keep you going. One of those options, which has become very popular over the last few years, are these power storage devices, which can power mostly your laptops. You can power your cell phone a number of times, your flashlights and your headlights as well. And they're very versatile. They come with all the plug-ins to go with it. You just plug it in and then just attach it to your cell phone and away you go. However, some of these need to be recharged after they've been depleted. And the only option that some of these have is electricity. So if you have a power outage or a blackout, these things are like a one and done. So once you've depleted the energy out of this, they're not useful anymore. A better option is to purchase a power bank that is solar rechargeable along with your outlet wall socket as well. Just like that. All you need is sunlight, and this thing will continually charge your peripherals such as your cell phones, your batteries, your flashlights, your headlights. As you can see here, it comes with all the different types of plug-ins, including your normal USB, USB-C type, which is your fast charging. It has a light on the back for if you're operating this in the dark. And of course, it has your charge indicator light to let you know how much storage you have left. And of course, this particular model here comes also with a pass-through charge, which means you could be solar charging this and running your cell phone plugged into it at the same time. This particular model also is 25,000 milliamps. That's a heck of a lot of power. So basically this one here can recharge your cell phone on one charge about 7 to 8 times. If you want to know more about this particular model, just let me know down below with your questions and comments. The next important issue I want to talk about when it comes to power outage is one that is very important, and that's lighting. You're going to need to be able to see in the dark where you're going, what you're doing. And one of those items that's often overlooked is glow sticks. Now this is your typical glow stick. You simply take it, there's a glass vial inside, you break it, snap in it, shake it up, and you've got a glowing effect that provides enough light to get you around from here to there. You can use these things as beacons and markers if you're out backpacking or camping to mark your items that you store or your campsite or your tent. Shake it up. There you have it. They also come with a few drawbacks. Now, There have been cases where children have broken into these things and ingested the liquid or got some of the liquid in their eyes, and it has presented a few medical complications, so I would be very careful with these. These things are a one and done. However, they do last for about 6 to 8 hours. The other option that you have now with glow sticks is you can actually purchase them that are battery powered. Now the problem obviously with battery powered anything is the batteries cannot function well in cold conditions. So these things are pretty much useless in the winter. However, in the other 3 seasons, very viable option. You just need to carry a stack of batteries to replace them. However, what if I told you you could get a glow stick or a cam stick that will last for your entire life that doesn't run on batteries? It's called tube light, and I'll leave a description down below. All you need is some sunlight to charge these things up through the day, or you can actually supercharge these with a flashlight. Check it out. So now what I've got here is I've got the battery operated glow stick. So I came across these by accident on the internet, and I decided to look into it, and apparently there's crystals in here that absorb ambient light such as solar light or light from a flashlight to supercharge them, and the crystals are encased in hard resin. Practically indestructible, but the claim by the company is that these things will last forever. Do these last forever? I don't know. I haven't lived forever, so I can't really say. However, as long as there's sun, these things will get recharged pretty much forever, they say. So unless you're living on a planet that has constant solar eclipses and your name is Vin Diesel, I think it's safe to say here on Earth we're pretty safe. The last 2 items I want to talk about when it comes to lighting is your flashlight and your headlight. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics of which is better, which models out there are better or not. Just to say you should always have one or the other, or even both, on hand in case you have a power outage. These things are totally indispensable and a must-have. These things are extremely powerful when it comes to projecting light. Now, in the past, light from flashlights used to be measured in candle power, and today they're measured in lumens. And to give you an example, an average amount of lumens that you need to light up your area where you're traveling or where you're stationary is about 350 to 400 lumens. This little bad boy here can project 2,300 lumens to a distance of about 300 feet. You can get some of these a little bit bigger, and they can project up to about 200,000 lumens. That's great if you want to light up the entire countryside and piss off all your neighbors. But really, 200,000? Have a look. And the last lighting source I want to talk about is the headlight. In my opinion, it's probably the most versatile piece of lighting equipment you can have on hand, simply because you can wear this on your head, and now your hands free to perform any tasks that you need to do around the house or out in the back. And these things are just as powerful as your flashlights. This particular model can project up to about 800 to 900 lumens, which is far more than you actually need. And all my flashlights, all my headlights are USB rechargeable, so that I can use it in conjunction with my solar power bank and continually recharge these in a power outage or a blackout. Now, this list that I have just gone over with you is by no means the extent of the items that you need to consider in a power outage or a blackout. There's other considerations like food, water, heat. Now, there's a difference between a power outage and a blackout. A blackout is usually something that's implemented by the government of your area in order to keep the electrical grid from going down from overuse. And you folks out there in California know exactly what I'm talking about because you've been experiencing that over the last few years. And of course, you folks down in Texas who experienced that ice storm just a few years ago, you know all too well about power outages and the importance of having power. Okay, so there you have it, folks. Whether it's a solar generator, gas-powered generator, or just simply a power bank, the importance of power, having it on hand during a blackout or power outage, cannot be underestimated. I hope this video was very helpful for you folks out there. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please, down below, hit the subscribe button and the like button. And it helps my channel grow and bring you a lot more videos of this nature to help you out. Take care, folks.